The air war heats up. This is combat footage of a kill. 2 Iraqi fighters shot down.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Tonight, America at war.
Good evening. Iraq still has a sizable air force, most of it apparently protected from air raids by deep bunkers. But today, Saddam Hussein sent attack planes into the air over the Persian Gulf, and it was Arab against Arab. NBC's Arthur Kent is in Saudi Arabia tonight. Arthur?
Tom, the Iraqi Air Force tried to surprise Allied warships in the Gulf with Exocet missiles, but only one Exocet was fired unsuccessfully. And an unexpected hero got the better of attacking Iraqi pilots.
The Royal Saudi Air Force has been accused by some of being unprepared for aerial combat. But today, this F-15 pilot shot down 2 Iraqi warplanes believed to have been trying to attack Allied ships in the Gulf.
We are really wake up there in the airplane. It's not like any routine. This is a war.
Target, bandit, bandit. Roger, the first target destroyed. The first target destroyed.
The Saudis were eager to put the kingdom's first air ace before reporters. The captain says the threat from Saddam Hussein's Air Force is far from over.
You know, we are expecting more attacks. There is no time to spend thinking about this thing, you know.
While the Allies chalked up more Iraqi kills, on the other side of the ledger, another British tornado was lost today. It's the 6th RAF tornado downed by Iraqi ground fire. This tornado managed to limp back to base, showing the scars of a low-level bombing run in Iraq. Despite setbacks, however, the Allied air effort expanded today with Canadian F-A-18 Hornets flying shotgun for bombers over Iraq. Warplanes from the Gulf state of Bahrain also took part in combat missions for the first time, and French planes struck targets in Iraq. France had previously restricted its planes to missions in Kuwait.
Militarily and politically, the broader participation of Allied air forces in the air war is bad news for Saddam Hussein. And if what is going on in the air holds true on the ground, then this alliance will be much more powerful than first expected. Tom?
Thank you, Arthur Kent, in Saudi Arabia tonight. And again today, U.S. military strategists were trying to reassure everyone that this war is going as planned. NBC's Fred Francis at the Pentagon tonight on the beginning of week 2. First, the successful dogfights, then another victory for the Allies. Fred?
Tom, another drama in the war today came unexpectedly when U.S. forces reclaimed a spit of land belonging to Kuwait. It began with the sinking of an Iraqi minesweeper and ended with the first ground combat on a tiny Persian Gulf island. The Central Command said today it did not know the island was occupied until U.S. forces were fired upon.
Reports indicate that 3 Iraqi personnel were killed in this encounter, and a total of 51 EPWs have been taken into custody.
At the Pentagon today, congressional leaders got a top-secret briefing, which included enlarged satellite pictures showing detailed damage to Saddam's nuclear, chemical, and biological production and research facilities. One Pentagon official said congressmen were amazed with the accuracy of U.S. weapons and the scope of target selection. Major General Martin Brantner said the destruction to prime targets, Iraqi's nuclear facilities, was complete without radioactive danger.
We seriously, of course, considered those effects as we planned our targeting against those facilities. And we were very, very confident at the outset that there would not be significant result, and our indications to this point are that there have not been significant radiation problems.
Meanwhile, the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows a surge in support for the war effort. Remarkably, 91% of Americans polled supported the continuation of the war to force Iraq to withdraw from Kuwait. And almost 3/4 of Americans polled said the U.S. should press on to capture or kill Saddam Hussein. But the focus of the U.S. bombing today was not Saddam's hideouts, but his elite tank units and supply depots in southern Iraq. An official here said, one by one, they are being destroyed. Tom?
Thank you, Fred. With all of the attention on the air war, we can't overlook the action that has already occurred on the ground. The first Marine artillery attack on Iraqi positions in Kuwait. Brad Willis was there.
The raid begins mid-afternoon, January 23rd. A platoon of tow missile vehicles from Task Force Terror moving out through the desert. winding their way carefully north towards the Kuwaiti border. Hours later, at sunset, they rendezvous with Fox Battery Artillery Section. Marines are ready to hit back at the Iraqis.
Saddam Hussein has really hurt a lot of people, you know, not only just because we're all over here and we're away from our families, but it's just a good opportunity for us to show old Saddam what we can do.
In bunkers quickly dug beside their artillery guns, young Marines at the ready, most having never seen battle before.
I suppose if you took 15 dozen emotions and turned them up full blast and put them all in your body at once, that's probably what I feel like.
Some check and recheck their payloads, 155mm shells and powder explosives. Not too far away, thunderous bombs begin to explode.
It's a big bomb going on.
Yeah, it is. Hope it's us.
The Marines admit that the Iraqi army has more artillery pieces and heavier firepower than they do. But they believe that with raids like this, getting in fast, hitting hard, and getting out quickly, they can get the edge. Fox Battery Commanding Officer, Captain Bruce Kowalski.
So instead of sitting back, far back there and getting clobbered, we'd much rather get in there and bloody his nose.
As we move even further north towards the Kuwaiti border, a multi-barrel rocket launcher, hidden somewhere, fires over our heads. Shortly before midnight, Fox Battery attacks. 35 deadly shells fired north into the night in a few minutes' time. The Marines retreat safely into the desert. They may never know if they hit their target, but they do plan to strike again. Near the Kuwaiti border, Brad Willis, Saudi Arabia.
When Nightly News continues, terrorism and the Super Bowl and other late developments on America at War.
In time, all definitions must be revised. But when it came to redefining luxury, it wasn't a Webster, it was Oldsmobile, the all-new 98. Now you can have anti-lock brakes, fuel-efficient power, computerized suspension, technology found in cars costing thousands more, which by my definition could be the greatest luxury of all. And you can always take a Webster at his word.
This is the new 98, luxury redefined. Generation of Olds.
Before I switched from Tylenol to Advil, I did my homework. I found that doctors have recommended Advil over 50 million times. I don't take just any medicine, but I do take Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
You know, that sign wasn't up there for more than a couple, 3 days. And bingo.
I've never seen a house move so fast. I've never seen a real estate outfit move so fast.
We're prepared to get the results you're looking for. The Prudential, you know us, we know real estate.
What effect is the Gulf conflict having on American public opinion? As NBC's Fred Francis mentioned, we do have a late poll on it. The NBC News Wall Street Journal poll finds that American voters overwhelmingly support this war. And they are solidly behind President Bush. More than 3/4 approve of the job that he's doing. That's up 20 points from last month. But while there is strong backing for the war, Americans also are being realistic. They're worried about terrorism. NBC News has learned that the FBI now has hired a number of civilians fluent in Arabic to help monitor wiretaps and to work in other anti-terrorist activities. And in our poll of 800 registered voters last night, 3/4 say they believe such an attack is likely in the United States. One specific concern, this Sunday's Super Bowl. NBC's Robert Hager tonight in Tampa.
It's a subdued Super Bowl week here. As halftime entertainers rehearse, the stadium is spruced up and the playing field ready. But the shadow of war, a half a world away, hangs over this normally festive week of preparations. Today, the Goodyear blimp was grounded here, and others too. Only one approved helicopter will be allowed over the field for aerial shots Sunday. Reporters covering pregame activities stand in long lines to be searched with metal detectors, just as the 80,000 fans will be searched on Sunday. No radios and no miniature TVs will be allowed in for the game. Bomb-sniffing dogs patrol the grandstand. Around the country, several TV stations have canceled reruns of the 1970s movie Black Sunday, which depicted a terrorist plot on a Super Bowl. Terrorism expert Billy Vincent has a warning.
Terrorism looks for large events where they can make spectacular splashes with whatever they do.
But Vincent believes things are under control in Tampa. And today, FBI Director William Sessions said he agrees.
The preparations for the event are completed, and of course I would encourage people to go and enjoy.
But enjoy with good taste. The NFL's big black tie gala, to have been held in this huge hall tomorrow, has been canceled. The league didn't think it would look right. And players admit to distractions. Buffalo Bills linebacker Carlton Bailey, his father, is in the Gulf.
Anytime in war and things like that, you often wonder if your loved one is going to end up coming home. And, you know, I'm just praying and hoping that sooner or later this problem will be resolved and my father come back home.
Bills tight end Keith McKellar has a father-in-law in the war.
We think about him every day and we pray for him, but it's really nothing we can do but just pray for all the people that's over there and hope this war ends soon and everybody can come home safe.
If Super Bowl officials ever needed a cue, that came days ago when the White House indicated President Bush thought the game should go forward. Now they simply say they want to ensure that it goes forward without incident. Robert Hager, NBC News, Tampa.
In Israel, terrorism is more than a threat. It is a reality of this war. But as painfully as it is that, this reality now is gaining Israel new support. NBC's Keith Miller is in Tel Aviv tonight. Keith?
Tom, absorbing Iraqi missile attacks may not seem a way to make friends, but it works for Israel. Not since the 1973 Arab-Israeli War has this country gained so much sympathy. A show of solidarity is what the German foreign minister called his visit. Protesters called it hypocrisy, claiming it was the Germans who sold Iraq the chemicals to make poison gas. But Hans-Dietrich Genscher brought money, $168 million, to help restore the buildings damaged by Iraqi Scuds. Taking a tour of the destruction is a part of any diplomatic mission. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Lawrence Eagleburger got the tour. Today he held his final round of talks with Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir. They discussed America's share of $13 billion in foreign aid. The unprovoked missile attacks on Israeli civilians has almost overnight changed Israel's standing in the international community. And gains for the Israelis means a defeat for the Palestinians. More than 1.5 million Palestinians in the occupied West Bank in Gaza have been virtually locked up since the outbreak of war. Except for brief shopping trips, a 24-hour curfew is in effect. Hanan Ashari could only be interviewed by phone.
The loudspeakers and the army patrols go around saying that whoever steps outside the house or breaks the curfew will be shot.
9-year-old Zina is missing her friends, misses school, and is afraid.
We're a bit scared, and so I'm just frightened of getting killed, or my father or anybody from our neighbors of us get killed or injured.
The increasingly bitter Palestinians say the only winner in this war so far has been the Israelis. Tom?
Thank you, Keith Miller, in Tel Aviv tonight. In a moment, the difficulties of reporting on this Gulf War. In a week now, America has been a captive audience of this war in the Persian Gulf, largely at the mercy of the official information given out by the Pentagon. In our poll, most voters say that they believe the Pentagon has been open enough. Only a quarter think that the military has been withholding information. But on the front lines, many journalists believe that they are still being denied a full and accurate picture of what is going on. From Saudi Arabia tonight, NBC's George Lewis.
That's the ship's rules that you're not allowed on the ship.
It's an almost daily occurrence here.
When are we going to start to be able to cover our story?
The press and the military bickering over what can and cannot be covered in the war.
Well, I think this may be the tightest restrictions that American reporters have ever had to contend with.
Only a limited number of reporters are permitted to go out to forward areas. They form pools, sharing their stories and pictures among all news organizations. The regulations say the press pools must be accompanied by official escorts to preserve military security. NBC News correspondent Gary Matsumoto was on a pool assignment interviewing Army Chaplain Terry Cook about the apprehensive mood of some arriving GIs.
They're thinking about family and thinking about the job to do here, and the introspection was obviously coupled with the hopes of returning home.
Though no military secrets were being breached, the escort intervened. This is a strict Islamic country where Christian chaplains are supposed to be keeping a very low profile.
There are no chaplain interviews in theater, sir.
This is not, I didn't see that in any of the JIB rules.
No, sir.
The military claims that it is not trying to censor press coverage to avoid embarrassment or save face.
We're taking the journalists to report whatever they see, whatever they want to report. We're not telling the journalists what to report.
In Vietnam, unescorted, uncensored journalists brought the ugliness of that war into American living rooms. Many military men believe that undercut public support for the war effort. So far in the coverage of this war, we have seen missiles and planes taking off to hit distant targets, dazzling displays of high-tech military hardware, no ugly close-ups of suffering. If and when these soldiers get involved in a bloody ground war, the cameras may be kept at a distance. Many military commanders would prefer that. George Lewis, NBC News, Saudi Arabia.
CBS News said today that its correspondent Bob Simon, a producer, and a two-man camera crew are missing. They were last heard from Monday late in northern Saudi Arabia. Important news today, a report that American women are developing breast cancer at a much faster rate than they were just a couple of years ago. NBC Science correspondent Robert Bazell has more on that story.
49-year-old Charlene Remington underwent one of her continuing radiation treatments for breast cancer today. She's been taking therapy for a year. In its latest estimates released today, the American Cancer Society said 175,000 American women will get breast cancer this year. 1 out of 9 will get it in her lifetime.
It's something that we must take quite seriously.
The Cancer Society's estimates over the past decade show how the number of cases has climbed sharply. The number of deaths from breast cancer has not gone up as fast, an indication of better treatments.
With improved chemotherapy, with radiation therapy being used in early breast cancers, that we are having a greater proportion of women who are alive 10, 15 years down the line.
Still, many specialists believe the increasing incidence of breast cancer is one of the most important medical trends of our time. One cause is that the population is getting older, but the incidence is also going up among younger women.
We are not seeing that same increase in other countries, so I suspect it's related to something that we do in the Western civilized world.
One strong possibility is that American women are eating more fatty foods. Another is that they are waiting longer to have children. Another factor is early diagnosis, especially with mammograms.
In 1987, only about 15% of women had ever had a mammogram, and that's up to 63% now, and we may well be finding cancers that we normally would not have diagnosed in the past.
Many experts do not believe that early detection explains it all. They say that diet or some other environmental factor is causing more and more American women to get breast cancer. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
More oil company profits. Chevron, the nation's fourth largest, said today that its fourth quarter earnings were up very sharply from a year ago. Mobil and Texaco have also reported big increases. As for small businesses, well, many of them are profiting as well. Here's NBC's Mike Jensen.
The Mexa Frost Company of Brooklyn is making 3.5 million frozen burritos for the troops, plus a few other specialties.
We make a Chinese egg roll that's in big demand right now for the Army, that they're ordering by the hundreds of thousands of pieces.
Paul Land and Marine in Newport Richey, Florida, is making filters to keep sand out of helicopter engines.
We started working around the clock on the design and the development and flight testing and the rest of it to get this air cleaner into the field.
In Tampa, at the Uniform Name Tape Company, business is up 70%, making flags and other patches.
My company is producing 700,000 of the flags at the rate of 40,000 a week.
In Oakland, the Coast Sausage Company increased its staff by 50% to make 2 million pounds of GI hot dogs.
It's not a good way to get business, but they have to eat. We have to feed them.
In Broomfield, Colorado, the Barrier Wear Company is making camouflage clothing that's hard to detect with night scopes. Profits are up 20%.
We're not sitting here saying that war is good, but if we can profit by it, and if it's, something we've been working on, for the last 6 years. So if there's a there's a future in it for us. You know, we'll continue on with it.
A lot of this is bittersweet. In Wadeville, North Carolina, McCrae Industries got an $8 million order for desert boots. Brenda Gaines knows a lot of the new customers.
Besides my son, I got a first cousin over there. I got a second cousin over there, and I have a couple of friends over there.
For small companies and their workers, it is the best of times and the worst of times. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
On Wall Street today, stocks were up in very heavy trading. The television living room war on the close-up lens. Tough enough for grown-ups. For children, well, as NBC's Bill Schechner learned, wisdom and worries.
Tom Stavali is 11.
Well, I saw the pictures of the Air Force over Baghdad. I was thinking if that was like regular Baghdad with people in it, what was that like they did to like Bloomfield? It was like my house. I felt weird because I never saw a war before.
Neither have most of us in quite this way. And if there is a surprise in the talk of children at the Franklin School in suburban Bloomfield, New Jersey, it is how much like ours is their reaction to these images of destruction.
I was scared. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, we should buy gas masks.
We are scared. They are scared. No matter how we process the pictures, they know it is not a video.
It's actually happening. It isn't fake.
Like us, they are fascinated yet repelled by the technology they see.
Got it. It's exciting when Patriot missiles intercept Scud missiles.
Try to remember what you thought when you were watching it.
I mean, war is a scary thing. You can die immediately.
Caught up in the history of this moment, they're confused by its morality.
Grown-ups are always telling us, don't fight, talk it over. Why can't we just talk it over? Yeah.
And like ours, kids' lives are continuing. But more than us, kids absorb the emotions around them. Chris McKittrick is 8. Listen to his mother, Kathy.
He's very quiet, and, you know, he's very serious. And you know something's going on, but you ask him what's wrong or, you know, what are you thinking about, and he'll say nothing.
I'm getting a little calmed down because I know more about it and what's happening.
How does that make you feel when you hear things
At the school, there are no special classes, but the children and adults are talking together about the images and the emotions.
Sometimes crying can help.
The challenge now is to comfort the children and make sense of the pictures. A task that could get harder if even grimmer images fill this screen in the weeks ahead. Bill Schechner, NBC News, Bloomfield, New Jersey.
That's Nightly News up to the minute. On many of these stations, we will continue with our coverage of America at war.